This is At Face Value.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Here we go again, episode 22 at Face Value. I'm Brian.
And I'm Lucas.
And you can go ahead and introduce yourself, Will, if you're going to be full-time on here. So.
And I'm Will.
Yeah, we didn't make that announcement last week. It was kind of hectic with four of us, but Will's going to be joining us full-time here, gets some insights, really knowledgeable with the NBA, with the NFL. He'll take up the slack that I'm not given with the NFL for sure.
I even added his name like on the Spotify app, so it's official.
Oh, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I had to make sure I spelled your name right, but I was
Most everybody does the 2 R's, 1 G.
yeah. I went 1 R, 2 G's, and I was like, is it 2 R's? And so I had to go check, so I nailed it. But anyway, we appreciate everybody coming on. Should be another good show. We actually got a much bigger everybody listening and subscribing last week, and I don't know if it was the holidays or what it was, but we really appreciate our numbers going up. So just continue to like, subscribe, share, just check it out. As long as we continue to have good quality, then we'll continue to post stuff out. I actually posted a few TikToks this week. One of them actually got pretty good traction on it. So
Heck yeah, dude.
it was the one. Oh, it was the one about Will.
My meltdown over A&M.
Might have another one today.
Oh, man.
No, but y'all have a good Thanksgiving?
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
it was good. We actually had 4 Thanksgivings. So
Jeez,
Yeah.
that's awesome, man.
yeah, I mean it's good when you have the opportunity to do that with family and everything.
Absolutely.
But it also wears you down, dude. Like it was crazy.
Go,
But
Yeah.
go.
yeah.
Did you crush a lot of food on all 4?
Yes, at all 4.
Dude, that's the way to do it.
And it's the same thing at all 4 of them. Like
Yeah, I say it all the time. This is the one time of year I eat turkey and ham. Like,
Yeah.
I literally don't for the rest of the year.
But you probably eat so much of it that, like, I'm good for another
Yep.
360
what do y'all eat?
days.
What do y'all eat at Christmas though?
Dude, we make lasagnas, man. Homemade lasagnas.
Really? Yeah,
we
that's not a bad
we like
idea.
literally like make them all together and then we bake them and eat them.
Dang.
Like good lasagnas, like straight from Italy.
Your mom can cook great, though.
Yeah, my mom's Italian
I was
too.
gonna say it's as close as you can get. So I mean,
Dude, it's so good.
I was wondering. I figured y'all might do like some kind of like. Well, I don't know if it's crawfish season around that time. So you
No,
probably
it's
don't.
not.
You
No,
probably
it's
don't
not.
want crawfish at Christmas time.
No,
but-
I would if I could. That's
Yeah.
one thing I can eat all the time.
Yeah.
If it was available, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
I mean, it's probably available somewhere, but it's probably not the highest
No.
quality.
No,
so.
you don't start till, like, February. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we do the lasagnas and I'm still eating turkey and ham leftovers too.
Yeah.
It's great making some sandwiches.
Dude, like I stopped taking leftovers. I'm like, I can't do it because the way I tell them, I'm like, tomorrow I'm gonna eat it again. So I really don't want any leftovers. So I just,
Well, if you have 4 of them like that, I don't blame you.
That's rough.
yeah. I mean, I asked people at one year, I was like, can y'all like just cook something different? And they're like, well, it's like our only one. So I was like, well, that's fair. Like I don't want to.
Like, look, man, I need a pork roast here.
Yeah, my dad does do like a split. Like he like some they'll do a turkey and then he'll also make like a little brisket. So it's like,
Oh yeah,
at least change it up a little bit so
sure.
you're not stuck on one thing. But
y'all do mac and cheese.
oh, dude, we do the whole spread: mac
Dude,
and cheese,
yeah.
potatoes, dressing. Like it's everything.
The Pilgrims definitely had mac and cheese.
Yeah,
Like absolutely had mac and cheese.
yeah, dude.
You gotta have it on the table.
That is what's crazy. I actually said that to. Wow, what a catch!
Yeah.
They need to stop throwing the ball, but
They weren't throwing until you took that bet. Dude.
that's exactly right. But yeah, it was good, and the one good thing about Thanksgiving too is a lot of football. There's a lot of football this weekend, starting on Thursday. It was great.
Yeah, man. They a lot of big games, a lot of games that we expected, and then just like it's been every other week, just big time upsets and a lot of change in the whole just spectrum of the ranking. So it's going to be a lot of things that are really going to change now based on the results over the weekend. So, and I don't know if he caught that. Did he drag that foot?
I think
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, I was close.
No, I was kind of talking to Will on the way over here too. It just like to start off with the results this weekend. I think there needs to be like a mindset change with college football. Like forever, like especially in the BCS era and then into the college football playoff when there was 4 teams, like, and with NIL and everything, the parity being what it is now, like I think there needs to be a mindset change about like how teams are performing in some of the results. Like I don't think there's going to be undefeated teams every single season. I think it's going to be more like the NFL, where having an undefeated season is going to be crazy. Like that's going to be a crazy season. And like Ohio State lost to Michigan. Like who saw that coming? You know what I mean?
Not a
That is-
soul.
Yeah.
That doesn't make Ohio State a bad team. Like
Yeah.
like
And
things
it
are
doesn't make Michigan a good team.
no,
Yeah.
exactly. Like the Panthers have won some football games this year in the NFL.
Should have won today.
Well,
Yeah, true.
But those things happen. Like, and I think that's going to be the norm now. Like 2-3 losses is going to be common, and it's going to make the job harder for the committee to figure out who the best 12 are. And this year is no different. I mean, it's going to be a tough decision for them. But like I see all the time, people talk about like, oh, this team is a great team, upper echelon team when they win, and then the next week they lose, and they're like, this team is ass. They suck.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think you can go that deep with it. I think there's just more parity, and undefeated teams are just not going to be as common anymore.
Well, and that's what it goes against our whole argument, because I remember at the beginning of the season when we were talking about our rankings, like I remember our initial rankings, like we didn't have Alabama in the playoff.
I didn't.
And we were like, because Alabama's going to lose 3 games, and you're not going to put a 3-loss team in the playoff. And then you look at this, and now Texas was the only team in the SEC that didn't have at least 2 conference losses.
Yeah.
Like the Big 12, like everybody had at least 2 conference losses. Like it was just really crazy. Like nobody, like you said, nobody
ACC.
expected that to happen. Yeah, the ACC, like Clemson coming from the depths and sneaking their way back.
They were
into the
dead
ACC
to rights
championship.
3 weeks ago. Like nobody, like Clemson has no chance.
Yeah. I mean, even if you go look into the Big Ten, like, I mean, obviously you have the 3 at the top, but like everywhere else, like it's literally just chaos.
Yeah.
And include like Michigan. I mean, obviously we know what they are, but Ohio State, they have 2 conference losses now.
So does it go back to kind of what we talked about last week, where like they're putting too much emphasis on a conference championship? Like,
We kind of touched on that on the drive over here too.
Yeah, I was listening to some people talk about it today, and they were on both sides of the argument. And the one argument was that if you play the games and you earn the right to go to a conference championship game, that you shouldn't be punished if you lose it. Because if you lose it and then someone that didn't earn that right to go to that game jumps you, how does that work? You can't punish them for playing it. But then on the flip side, the other guy said, well, then this just makes this an exhibition game. There's no point to play it. Because if you're saying whoever you're basically doing this to see where they're going to put them in the rankings. If you win, you're going to be ranked higher. If you lose, you're going to be ranked lower. But essentially, the game's not needed if they're both going to make the playoff. I think that's probably true. I mean, it does become an exhibition game of sorts for some conferences. Now, in the ACC, Clemson's not getting in if they lose.
Right.
They're a 3-loss team. So they have to win this game. SMU, I don't think, should be punished if they lose and get kicked out, but that'll be the argument for the committee because now they'll have 2 losses, and here we go with SEC bias. Are they going to bump one of those 3-loss SEC teams to that 12 spot? I don't know. So it does still matter in some cases, but we'll see how it all plays out. But, Miami should have gotten in, and if it had been Miami and SMU, I think both of them get in the playoffs. So now the ACC could still be a 2-bid or it could be a 1-bid depending on the outcome of that championship game. But it's going to be interesting how it
well,
unfolds.
that's what I almost feel like Miami losing actually hurts SMU more than anything, because if you play a 1-loss Miami and you lose, well, you lost to a team that was ranked higher than you, so it's not the end of the world. Whereas now you lose to Clemson, a team lower than you. Now you're looking at like, well, am I in trouble potentially not making the playoff now?
Absolutely.
Because there is a team like South Carolina who's probably going to be like number 13 that's with 3 losses. You have Alabama that's going to be probably 11 or 12 now at 3 losses. And so are you going to bump a team for losing in the conference championship out of the playoff with their only conference loss being in the championship because you want to put a 3-loss SEC team in there? Like,
Yeah, and there's an argument to be made too, right there with the South Carolina Alabama situation. Like they both have 3 losses. Alabama beat South Carolina head to head by 2, and I believe that was in Tuscaloosa. I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. But South Carolina's other 2 losses were to LSU and Ole Miss.
Right.
Now let's go look at Alabama's losses.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt, Oklahoma,
Unranked.
The Tennessee loss is the one that you can say, okay,
that's your
a
one
loss.
quality loss.
But like they lost to bad teams.
Yeah.
Well, again, mindset change. Sorry, they lost to not as good teams. And if Lenore Sellers doesn't get hurt against LSU, they beat LSU. Let's don't get that twisted at all.
That game was in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, and so they lost by 2. So, I mean, there's an argument to be made both ways where Alabama should get in over them because they have the head-to-head, and then South Carolina, I think, has just been more consistent.
Right.
They've been a more consistent team, losing to better teams, and again, a close loss in Tuscaloosa. That's nothing to hang your head about.
Man, and I know we talked about it outside of the podcast, but man, if they had beat LSU,
They're in.
like, well, that's
They're top 8.
But I wonder if that changes like everything for them too, like as far as just like your confidence, like just skyrocketing, and maybe they beat like because Alabama was after the LSU game, right?
Yeah.
So like maybe you beat an Alabama, like I mean they could potentially be like a 1-loss team right now.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, the one thing I will say is if Lenore Sellers figures out a way to throw the ball, dude, watch out, dude.
They're going to be good next year, man.
I watched some of the Clemson game. I think it was on at the same time as the Michigan Ohio State game, but the dude, the way he was running the football, it reminded me of like a Cam Newton and Vince Young. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be as good as those two, obviously, but like
attributes.
Dude, he's a big, fast runner. Like he's hard to bring down, and those two had that same quality.
He threw for $164 and ran for $166 on 16 carries.
Dude, it was crazy.
And that game-winning touchdown was crazy too.
Yeah, like somebody that big shouldn't be able to move like that. It's impressive. And
do you think he's a lock to stay at South Carolina?
I don't.
do. I think he is because I think this is like this kind of game. You go to Clemson and you go beat Clemson. That South Carolina doesn't do that in recent history.
No.
So
I mean, they beat him last year at home.
Yeah, but I think Shane Beamer's got them moving in such a good direction. Like if you go win a game like this, the second half of their season, again, Alabama LSU play them again right now. Look out! I mean, this is a totally different team. So I think they're moving the right direction. I'd be surprised if he leaves. I mean,
I agree, but
they're ending 9-3, probably going to miss the playoff by 1, maybe 2 spots.
the only thing that I will say to that is NIL changes a lot of that, right? Like if somebody goes and throws him an offer, that's crazy. Say I want you. Like say Bryce Underwood ends up coming to LSU and Michigan comes in with a $12 million offer to Lenore Sellers because they want a quarterback. I mean, he's gone. And that could happen. It's tampering or whatever, but there's no rules. It's a Wild West.
Yeah, it really is.
Like there's no rules. You can do whatever you want.
So do you really? Do you think Michigan would be that desperate though? Like, say Bryce Underwood changes his mind and bails. Do you think they would throw that kind of money at a different quarterback?
They threw it at a high school kid.
Yeah.
If there's one that's proven, I think they'll definitely do it.
Honestly, like I'm actually like kind of surprised they didn't do that already. Like, because I mean, Bryce Underwood's probably going to have some growing pains next year. Like, they're not gonna come in. At least I don't think he's gonna come in and just take over and just run like through everybody in the Big Ten. Like, I just don't see it happening. There's gonna be growing pains. There's gonna be mistakes happening. He's gonna have to learn a whole system in a year. He's 17. He's not even 18 yet.
But dude, Davis Warren tore it up yesterday. 9 for 16 for 62 yards and 2 picks.
Dude, that pick at the like in the end zone was.
Dude, oh my gosh! I was watching that with my brother-in-law, and like, dude, the running back's wide open. It's like just float it to him, and he throws it straight to the linebacker. I'm like, oh my gosh!
That might be one of the worst throws I've ever seen from a collegiate quarterback, a D1 quarterback. That's bad.
Yes, at a powerhouse Division I school.
And as soon as that happened, I think I texted in the group. I was like, "That's why they gave $12 million to Bryce Underwood to get somebody to come in to just be competent at throwing the football."
But again, and it kind of goes back to I know we talked about Will Howard versus Dylan Gabriel last week, and like that kind of shows you right there too. Like, I don't think Will Howard's like a top level quarterback. Like,
no, and that's the argument there. Like, Ohio State spent all this money on this team. You know, the highest paid college football team in America as far as NIL money spent to bring these guys in. And their defense played great. They have this great group of receivers, a good running back, and they have the whole transfer portal. And Ryan Day goes, Will Howard's the guy. And he wasn't even good at Kansas State.
But to the argument against that, like J.J. McCarthy won a national championship last year with Michigan. He was not a good quarterback either. He was a game manager.
He was a game manager, but Will Howard has at least two goofs a game where he makes a play and you go, what the heck was he doing?
Yes.
I mean, so does Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, I mean, you
We'll-
see that
we'll
across,
get into that.
you see that across college football, though. I mean, so does Garrett Nussmeier, and then Garrett Nussmeier goes and throws dimes against Oklahoma, who's a good defense. Like he literally like diced him up, like was putting the ball in crazy spots, 40 yards down, 50 yards down the field, like, and then he throws that pick against A&M. You're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like I feel like that just again, 18 to 21-year-olds, you're gonna have mistakes.
No, I agree.
I don't know how Ohio State loses that game. Like
No, that's
that is that might be the worst loss of the season. Again, I'm even putting that against Notre Dame losing Northern Illinois. Like that is a bad loss.
I mean, like you had an opportunity. You lost the last 3 seasons. You're playing a bad Michigan team
this is it at home.
At home.
Like this is your opportunity to just take all your frustration out and just beat the absolute brakes off of them.
I mean,
and you completely flop. Like
yeah, and Dave Portnoy like went off. Like he was like, and he made a great point. Like if you're gonna beat him, like this is the year. Like you're never gonna beat him. If this isn't the time, like it's never gonna happen. And I know a lot of Ohio State fans, they're calling for Ryan Day's job.
No, everyone I listened to today, like they want him gone. Like if anything, they were like one of them is like he can even win the national title. I don't care. Get him out of here because he consistently does this.
See, but that's what I said. I said
That's
it would take him.
It's crazy.
If he doesn't get to, I would say he has to get to at least the semifinals to save his job at this point. I think, like, despite everything, you go with 2 losses, lose, like, and if you lose in the quarters, whatever, like, or like your first round game, like you're done, dude. Like,
Bring back
no
Jim
way.
Tressel. Dude, that freaking sweater vest.
Yeah, dude.
But
yeah, he was dishing a little bit of money out, so.
God. And then I mean Urban Meyer, that's what everybody wants back over there. But
Oh god,
I don't
dude.
think that
Well,
guy.
that's what they were saying. That like, this would have never happened under Urban Meyer. Like he would have never done this.
Dude, they say the same thing about Kalen DeBoer over at Alabama. They're like, Saban would never. Like,
He wouldn't, but Saban wouldn't.
Well, I know it's just
Saban
funny.
actually wouldn't.
Yeah,
though.
no,
Like,
I know. It's just
Yeah.
funny how like you have like the legends of the game or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, this would be totally different if we had a different. guy. Like,
That's unrealistic to, and if you're an Alabama fan, to go. He's going to be just as good as Nick Saban. Like that
For sure.
That's the greatest, arguably the greatest college coach of all time.
No, it is. I don't think there's even a debate anymore.
Yeah, I would say he is, but you can't expect some guy to walk in here and just be Nick Saban. Like you had to expect something. Now I'm not saying you had to expect go lose 28-3 in Norman, Oklahoma, but
Yeah. But I know at the beginning of the season, like I listened to a lot of people that were like at SEC media days before the season started, and a lot of the Alabama media people, like they were even talking about like when Nick Saban was there, like being in the facility at all times, like you were walking on eggshells, like you didn't want to put a toe out of line because Nick would hear about it and they get reamed and all this stuff. And they're like, now with DeBoer here, like this is as free as it's been since I've worked here because obviously Saban was there for 15 years and a lot of the people, they probably were working there the entire time when Saban was there. They're like, this is the most like free and like loose that this whole place has ever been. And that's the reason why Nick Saban was so good is because he literally, to a T, from the media to the ball boy to the players, everybody had their duties and like he stayed on top of it. And I mean,
it was a standard. He held the standard
Yeah.
for everybody.
that's how he ran the ship, and that's what made him so consistently good.
well, because I mean that's what at the end of the day, like it's a reflection of you.
Yeah.
So you're gonna make sure if I'm running the ship, yeah, it's gonna go exactly how I want it to go. Like I'm not. There's no leeway one way or the other.
But it's crazy how nobody can replicate that, like, or has been able to.
Yeah.
You know?
And I don't think I know we've talked about it before, but I mean I don't think anybody ever will.
No.
Just because of the way like the NIL stacked up and everything else now, like, I know that that's a big reason why he got out anyway, just because he was tired of competing with it. So, because I mean, like, I wouldn't say it would tarnish his legacy, but it would definitely, like, it would go from him being on top every single year to now you're going 10-2, 9-3. So for Nick Saban standards, that looks way different than going undefeated and winning national championships every other year.
Yeah, he left at the right time, and he did it definitely like strategically.
For that reason,
Yeah.
for that, he didn't have to fight all this.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, Dusty Baker did the same thing.
I mean, yeah. Well, that's another talk for another day. But yeah, it was crazy.
It's a great weekend, dude. Let's talk about some games. So
Yeah.
we talked about Michigan sneaking out 13-10 over Ohio State, dude. How about that brawl too? Like, dude, that was wild, dude. The police were pepper spraying players.
I saw the two guys on the sideline like rubbing their eyes, like they didn't know where they were. I'm like, God, and it's all like that's not the only one though. Like
There was like 5 brawls this
and they all
weekend
had to do
because
with
everybody was
flags.
planting the flag.
Yeah, it was all about the flag. It's just crazy, man. Like, I mean, that was the most exciting part of the game because that game was awful to watch.
game
But
was
Ohio
so
State showed
boring.
more fight in the post-game fight than they did all game long.
Yeah.
I mean, I say that. Ohio State's defense played great. Michigan's stats are not good. They did not have a good game.
No.
But Ohio State's offense could do nothing.
Especially with the weapons they have too.
And then they would get in positions to score points. And, there was that one segment of the game which epitomized the entire game where it was pick, miss field goal or whatever it was. It was
Yeah, it was bad.
terrible.
Not a good game of football.
Yeah, I'm looking right here. So
Big 10 unders, dude.
Big 10 unders. Yeah, dude. Punt, field goal, downs, interception, touchdown, missed field goal, punt, field goal, punt, interception, missed field goal, interception, punt, field goal, downs. That's how the game ended.
I want to say at one point Ohio State's defense made them go 3 and out 5 times in a row,
Yeah, dude. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
and you still lose that game.
yeah.
at home.
Every
At
opportunity
home
to win
as
that
a
game.
21-point favorite.
21 point, yeah.
But back to the flag thing, like, isn't that a turf field? Like, how is that going in the ground?
Well, I mean, like Baker Mayfield did it like however many years ago. Like
With OU,
it's
yeah.
just like the whatever.
Yeah, I know. I'm kidding.
No, I know you are, but like because then like they did it, and then Florida did it to Florida State.
Yeah.
Oh,
Everybody did.
I was gonna say there was a few. I know
Arizona State did it to Arizona. Like, Arizona's not a good team.
they
I know
stuck
they're your
the
rival.
trident in
Yeah,
their
the
hat or
trident. Yeah.
something, yeah. Texas tried to do it, and Sark ran them off. Like they were.
But did
bringing-
they actually have a flag? I didn't see a flag.
I don't know. I just saw like.
And I saw the police were like guarding the logo.
Oh yeah,
like
dude,
they had like a police like barricade around the logo.
I'm
in
surprised they
midfield.
didn't have the whole corps out standing around it or something.
Yeah, I probably
like,
should have.
The military corps.
Reveille come bite them. No, but I mean, I don't have a problem with the flag thing. I guess it is disrespectful, but
Well, the argument to that would be don't lose the game.
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Go win the game, and
yeah.
that can't happen.
Protect home field, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Tough game for Ohio State for sure. I mean, they dropped to number
Yeah.
7. They're still going to get in.
Yeah, they're in.
It just changes. I mean, I guess who
They might not host.
Well, I was going to say, what is it, 5 through 8 that hosts?
Yes.
So.
So they might. I mean, I still
Maybe.
think they do. I mean, if they stay at 7, they will.
Yeah, but that's AP.
True.
We don't know what the committee's going to do, and then obviously you have the four conference winners that aren't included in that 7.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's what I didn't think about. So like Penn State's number 3 right now. So they'll fall assuming they lose to Oregon.
But if they beat Oregon, then both of them are going to be ahead of Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean,
do you think Penn State jumps to 1?
no, Texas will if they beat Georgia.
I think so.
So if Texas loses, but then Penn State jumps to 1, and then so say Penn State wins, though Oregon falls to 5, which pushes Notre Dame down to 6, because Notre Dame's number 4, but they can't get one of the buys,
No,
so
yeah.
they would be 5. They would bump to 6. You would assume Georgia or Texas, whichever one loses, would be 7 above Ohio State.
Either way, they're going to drop because one of the champions has to jump up too. Either the Big 12, Big 12, ACC, or Mountain West has to
Yeah.
jump. So
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so right now Notre Dame's at 4. So really the best they can do right now is
It's
7.
Yeah. Well, they could be 6. I could see them putting them ahead of the
Loser of the
of the Texas
Yeah.
Georgia game.
especially if it's Georgia with 3. That'd be 3 losses
Yeah.
for them.
But
I would say Penn State would drop to 5, as long as it's competitive. If they
Yeah.
get blown out, I think they drop. But
But you have Tennessee with 2 losses too.
yeah, I mean,
You know what I mean? Like,
so to me, the highest the committee could put Ohio State is 8, and that would be putting them ahead of Tennessee.
yeah.
And I don't know if that's going to happen.
that is true. Yeah.
Tennessee, Tennessee looked. Who they play this weekend?
Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt.
Well, they went down 14-0 like the first 35 seconds.
Right off the
Nico
bat,
threw for like
yeah.
6 touchdowns or 5 touchdowns. Like,
Yeah.
and that's back. I mean, they played like UT Martin or something, and he threw for like 6 touchdowns the week before. But I mean, if he finds a groove, you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think I don't think Ohio State hosts. I think they're probably looking at the 8 or 9 ranking. Even if they do host, they're playing probably if it's 8-9, it'd probably be Tennessee.
Yeah.
So they might still get Tennessee and have to go play at Tennessee,
Yeah.
which
Man, be a pretty good game.
Dude, yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Freaking pumped, and it's awesome too because like I think the first round of the playoffs is what, December 20th.
Yeah, so like
So
so this weekend will be the championships. Next weekend will be the All American game, Navy and Army.
Yeah.
and then they'll start after that. So
Dude, like that was like prime New Orleans Bowl and Poinsettia Bowl games. Now
Yeah.
we're watching these freaking awesome matchups. This is awesome. Like I would just be bowl picking and like Bowling Green versus freaking
Middle Tennessee
yeah,
State.
That's what I'll be watching, and now I get to watch possibly Ohio
Ohio
State,
State.
Tennessee, dude. This is awesome, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm
So
talking about. Early games, this is great.
It's gonna be fun, man.
But we're watching it right now. The Bills and 49ers snowing. That could be an issue, especially once you go up north like that.
for
Like that could be a
sure.
dude. Imagine like a team from like, imagine UT going and playing in the snow. Like, I guess UT wouldn't have to because they'd get a bye. I mean, they might not get a bye.
well,
They might host. They'd
UT
probably
would
host.
They would-
UT would host, and then by the time they get to
Yeah.
the next, aren't the later rounds played at wherever those
Yeah, it's a
iconic
bowl.
bowls are?
Yeah, it's
So
just
is
the first round.
So is it like the first 2 rounds are home games?
I think it's just the first
I
round.
think it's just the first, yeah.
And
So
once it goes to the
so top
quarterfinals,
4 seeds never host.
no. Top 4 seeds don't host. It goes straight to the bowl games after that.
It's kind of wild to me. I would think that you'd at least give the like the
Because then there's only 8 teams left, and that's a quarterfinals, and the quarterfinals are in the bowl areas, and then it goes to like the college football playoff kind of thing, like they did last year.
true. Yeah, I guess we'll see, man. But
Yeah,
it's gonna be a lot of fun. But so Michigan won that one. Tennessee won their game. Oh, I was kind of hoping Vanderbilt would take that one because that would have
Yeah.
really screwed stuff up, dude.
dude,
Like,
that would have been made. Shoot,
Or yeah, that one or the other big SEC game that almost threw a wrench in stuff. Friday night,
oh my god, we
the
didn't touch on that.
8 overtime thriller.
Forgot about that because of Saturday.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say Saturday was so crazy.
That was probably the most. That might have been the best game of the weekend.
Yeah,
I mean, I would
think
say so. I mean, well, and dude, we were texting because they went into overtime, which we kind of. I mean, first of all, Georgia Tech goes up 17-0, is rolling into the third quarter, and then all of a sudden they're up 2 touchdowns with 5.5 minutes, like, and we're talking about them possibly winning, and now all of a sudden they're in. It's kind of like now it's tied, and in the first overtime we were texting because like we both thought Georgia Tech was gonna go for 2 to try to win it.
on the road, you're the underdog. Like you got to go win it. You got to try. Like if you get it, great. Like you just upset a huge like rival,
Yeah, massive win.
big team,
Massive win.
like does wonders for your program. But really, like they're not playing for anything. They're just playing for a better bowl.
Well, and the head coach
Like-
even said he hates Georgia. Like
Yeah.
he said that was his focus is beat Georgia. And you saw like how emotional he was at the end of the game
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
they lost. So why not like throw everything out and go for it right now?
Yeah.
Like, we're going for the win.
But let's go back before overtime, man. Like that fumble, that's a definition
That's-
of targeting, man.
yeah.
Oh.
That's the
100%.
definition of
Yeah.
targeting. That's a crazy no call. Like, and I'm not a big fan of targeting. Like I wish, like, let them play if it's malicious, whatever. But like, the
Don't-
rules are the
yeah.
rules, man. Like, there's some calls that I've seen. I'm like, dude, that's like, let the kids play. But like, and I've seen some where like it's very minimal and the kid's ejected for the rest of the game.
I don't like the whole ejection thing at all.
I think it should be like in soccer. It should be a yellow card, red card. Like if it's a targeting based on their rules, like it's a penalty. Give them the freaking 15 yards, yellow card. You're warned. If it happens again, you're out.
Yeah.
And then if it's malicious, like you're trying to hurt the kid,
You can definitely tell intent sometimes.
yeah, you give them a red card.
But they used to do that too. Like so originally when they brought in targeting, the rule is that the 15-yard was there no matter what.
Yes, I remember.
And then it was just a debate of whether you were ejected or not.
Yeah.
And then they went to, okay, either it's everything or it's nothing.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, but again, it's so subjective. But
It is.
I feel like if you could interpret the right way, I feel like there should be a step. Like it's either nothing, like it was a bad call, or like the intent wasn't there. So it's like your yellow card. It's a 15-yard, but the kid stays in the game. And then there's the malicious intent, where it's like,
or even do it like roughing or running into the kicker.
Your kicker.
Give him a
Yep,
5-yard
5-yard.
penalty, not an automatic first down.
Yeah.
And then if it's a red card, give him a 15-yard penalty.
And he's out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that should be like discussed a little bit. They should put me in that freaking ballroom in Grapevine for the.
you think so?
Yeah.
I think I should be there.
Well, I mean, because like seriously, so if he gets ejected for targeting, now he has to miss the first half of the SEC championship game.
Yes.
Like that would be
Yes.
that's crazy to
That's
me.
the way the rules are written.
Yeah, that is, and that would have been what would have happened. But
Yeah.
like that's the SEC championship game for a chance to get a bye, and you're gonna make a kid sit out for possibly not even that bad of a hit.
Dude, I forgot what year it was with LSU. Like LSU played Mississippi State in Tiger Stadium. I want to say it was Devin White, like one of our starting linebackers. Like literally, like went in, form tackled the guy, helmet in his chest, the top of his helmet like nicked his face mask. They called him for targeting it. Like towards the end of the game, like the game was over. LSU was dominating. And then he had to miss the first half against Bama the next week because of it.
which is
And they had a
wild.
bye after that, so he had to like literally like just sit on it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know about the if it's the red card, if it's a straight red card, like yeah, miss the first half, that's fine. But like if it's just like not intent like that, yeah, they need to really like revise some of that.
Yeah, I mean the targeting and then pass interference, like those are like the two that
Yeah.
are like the most subjective, where it just all depends on like who's calling it and like how they're going to call it.
Yeah,
So,
no, for sure.
and that's where the problem lies. But
Another thing too, like I think it was in like the 6th overtime. Man, if freaking what's the quarterback's name?
Hayes King?
Hayes King, dude. If he literally gives on that jet sweep, Georgia Tech wins that game.
Yes.
He pulled it and ran right into like just a jumbled
yeah,
mess.
literally move nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah, if he hands off, dude, that's a game's over.
I think he deserves like a Purple Heart though, man. That dude was beat up.
Oh,
He was
God.
coming back to the line sometimes, just limping around. Like he,
Well, he rushed like 20-something times.
yeah,
like-
and like
Yeah.
everything was like up the middle, and he was. I mean, they were getting 5 and 6 yards to
Yeah.
chip, but he was getting just hit every single time. But
You wish he was in Aggie Land still?
no,
No?
no,
Really?
no, yeah.
I know
Dude,
some
no.
people that do.
There probably is.
I
I
mean-
mean, I think for the way he plays quarterback, the way Georgia Tech run schemes helps him a lot better. Like
Yeah, but they don't run the triple option anymore.
no, but like they've catered to his abilities. Wherein at A&M we weren't doing this.
Well, wasn't that Sumlin days?
No, he was
Was
there
it
during
Jimbo?
Jimbo.
Was it Jimbo?
He was there
But
during
Haynes
Jimbo.
King seems like a Colin Klein prototype. Like,
I agree.
Oh, we'll get into Colin Klein in a minute,
why did something happen?
dude. I won't lose it yet. I will later.
Yeah, I don't know if there was a game or.
Yeah, no,
so
but-
Georgia sneaks that one out, but one that didn't sneak out that we talked about was Miami, dude.
My dark
Going up
horse, man.
21-0
Syracuse.
against Syracuse, and then blowing the game.
9-3, right? They finished 9-3.
9-3.
I mean,
9-3 is not bad.
not
I
bad.
think I said they were going to upset some people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
I
if-
mean, that's what Dark Horse is about.
Yeah,
so-
and if
Right.
Kyle McCord doesn't throw 80 interceptions that one game,
Dude.
could have been 10-2.
They could be in the playoff.
Yeah, seriously, in the ACC, absolutely.
Yeah, very close.
you have the second best ACC Dark Horse pick.
I know. I know. I know.
But no, dude, that game was crazy. Like Kyle McCord, I mean, like on his prize picks, like I mean,
Dude.
his average over is like 320 yards.
And
a
we take
week.
it.
Like,
We take it every time, and he hits
week.
in the first half.
Yeah.
He hit it.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude, he
I
hit it
did-
in like the first
Dude, he
half.
threw like
Jeez.
270 yards or something in the first half or something. Yeah, it
Wow.
was crazy.
Dude,
like,
last week I think we had it at 335, and he had like 348 yards in the first half.
I mean,
yeah,
well,
easy.
I mean, they're smart for this game because Miami, they give up points.
oh,
I mean,
dude.
they have to have Cam Ward score 40 for them to win. So they definitely give up the points.
It didn't matter this time.
It did well.
God.
Now they've been caught twice. I mean,
and going back to that last drive where they kicked that field goal, man, like they didn't get the ball back. Like you got to go for it on fourth down
Yeah.
when you're in the red zone like that. Like that was like a chip shot field goal too. I think it was like 4th and 5. Like, dude, let your guy make a play. Let Cam Ward do, like
and
work his
again,
magic.
if you don't get it, they're at the 5 yard.
Yeah.
You're deep in their own
And you're
territory.
gonna have to play defense like you did whenever you kicked the ball off after the field goal.
But that's kind of Cristobal, like his game management's been a question consistently. I mean, I still remember
Hail
last year
Mary
against Georgia Tech,
Yeah,
where he decided to run the ball instead of take a knee, and they fumble and ended up losing the game. Like,
I do remember that.
it's stuff
yeah.
like that where it's just like you're in position to win games or get into a game and just making bad decisions. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. But
Yeah, and a lot of people again talking about Indiana, who absolutely steamrolled Purdue.
66 to nothing.
What's their there's like biggest win since like 1944 or something.
God, but everybody talks about their strength of schedule. It is what it is. Like, it's not very good, but they did that to most teams. They won games by 30. They did what they were supposed to.
Yeah.
Miami's schedule isn't that much better.
No, and
And they snuck out so many
dog fights.
and they're in the top 5 in the
Week-
college football playoff. Like,
Well, they were
not anymore. But yeah,
Yeah.
But before that,
like
like
all season. Yeah,
like the Virginia Tech game with the Hail Mary, like they snuck by
Yeah.
a lot of those games. They weren't doing what they were supposed to, and Indiana has.
yeah. I mean, sneaking by Virginia Tech, sneaking by Cal.
Yeah,
I mean,
Georgia Tech
Louisville
beat them.
It was 3 straight games. Yeah, they snuck by. So
dude, like barely getting
like
by.
you go from being 10-2 to potentially like 8-4.
Yeah,
Like that would be crazy. But
and so that's what gets me is like people talk about Indiana. Well, yeah, they don't have a good schedule, but they took care of business, man. They destroyed a lot of the teams that they played.
yeah, I mean, really the only games they didn't play great in
Michigan.
was Michigan.
Yeah.
And then like offensively they didn't play well against Ohio State.
And no, they didn't. But I don't know if we touched on it last week, but like that game was closer than the score indicates.
Yeah, and that's
like,
what I mean. That offensively they didn't. Like
if-
defensively they played well.
If Ohio State didn't have that punt return for a touchdown and Indiana's punter didn't just absolutely miss the deep snap, like, and Ohio State gets the ball on the 2-yard line, that's a different game. And that turns the game on its head too, because now Indiana has to kind of push the ball a little bit more. They can't run it as much. They have to put the ball in the air, like getting away from their game plan. So, I mean, that's a different game if those things don't happen. But it did, and special teams is part of the game. You got to clean that up.
Oh, 100%.
But I think the game was closer than the score indicated.
Yeah. I will tell you, though, dude, like, the other ACC team, SMU, going back to them, dude, they are playing really good football right now.
Yeah, dude, they just made me mad with their quarterback didn't get over yards.
Yeah, I know.
I
No,
needed
dude,
that.
that was like the only time this season they hadn't
I
gone
know
over.
he's been money Jennings, and didn't hit for me. But
Well,
no,
I didn't realize. I was talking to buddy Jake yesterday or earlier this week, and he was talking about that because we were talking about Preston Stone, and like I told him I picked SMU as my dark horse because of Stone.
Yeah.
And then he ends up getting benched in the second game. It was actually the BYU game when they made the switch, and then of course Jennings just rolled ever since then. But that's what he said. He said Stone was good. He said, but Jennings just gives you that extra dimension. They just
and
he's
that's their only
legit.
L, right?
BYU's
Yeah,
their only
BYU,
loss.
yeah. And that's when
Dang.
they made the quarterback switch. So
They
ever
could be
since then,
undefeated,
like they've just been putting up tons of points. Like,
Yeah.
they scored 15 in that game, and I don't think they've scored less than 30 since then.
Yeah.
like which is crazy.
Yeah, they're going to be a tough out for sure, like in the playoff.
I saw one where there was one projection where it had Texas as a 2 seed, and they were going to play the winner. It was SMU and I think Ohio State. Is either Ohio State or Notre Dame, and so I thought that'd be kind of crazy, like an all Texas playoff game like that, like
Yeah.
Texas versus SMU. So
But we talked about it last week, like about how many teams could potentially win the national championship. Do you think SMU could potentially win at all?
I mean, on any given Saturday, I think they have a chance.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pick them to be a favorite in any of
I
them.
wouldn't
but-
bet on them. No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. But I mean, we see what's happening every week. Like, if you don't show up, like SMU's a very good team that can absolutely beat anybody on any given day. I
Yeah,
think.
you just gotta get things to go your way. I mean, that's all it is.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the margins are super fine this year.
Oh, for sure. But Notre Dame rolled. They were tied
Dude,
with USC for a
They
while.
didn't
Like,
roll them. It was
they ended up
if they
running
don't-
away with it.
well. He
it was
threw.
2 touchdowns, but yeah.
They had those 2 pick sixes, the 99-yarder and the 100-yard pick six. So
Did they really?
yeah, on
they-
back-to-back was it back-to-back possessions?
No
So
way.
USC was going into school.
Yes.
That game was going on at the same time as
No,
the Texas.
USC
and
was
A&M
down
game.
7 was driving, was potentially going to tie it. They throw a 99-yard pick six, and then they go right back down and they intercept a 100-yard pick six. I don't remember how far away they were each time,
Dude.
because I wasn't watching it, trying to get it to load. But yeah, back-to-back pick sixes.
Jesus.
They were on the 21, the 13.
Yeah, the game was a lot closer than I guess it ended up only being 2 touchdowns anyway.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it was back and
was-
forth the whole
yeah.
time. I know it was.
it was closer than that.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of talked about it. Like USC at home plays a lot better on the road.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, that's a big time rivalry.
Yeah.
So I mean, definitely. And I mean, I feel like it's not there yet, but I feel like Lincoln Riley's getting pretty close to coaching for his job at this point. Like,
that was my next question. Is Lincoln Riley fired? Like, is he done?
I don't think.
I don't think he's fired this
fired.
year.
I think.
But he
nah.
comes in next year on a boiling seat.
Yeah.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
he's-
for sure.
I think they want to keep this recruiting class together as much as possible. I think they have some young kids.
Well, they got a
coming
big
in.
time quarterback coming in, don't they?
Yeah, from A&M.
Yeah.
A little long street.
Yeah.
He was a 4-star.
I think either high 4
Yeah.
star or low
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think they're trying to keep that together. I saw though they had a 5-star receiver decommit today. And
Really?
he's
SC did.
Yeah, he's supposedly a A&M lean too. Yeah.
A&M just got another quarterback. We flipped from.
Yeah, I saw that too.
He's like 16. He's reclassifying, so he'll sit for like 2 years
Dude,
probably.
I saw a picture of that kid. That dude is probably 6'5",
Yeah, he is 6'5".
and he's 110 pounds.
Yeah, I think he's
Receiver?
no, he's a
Quarterback.
quarterback. I think
Oh,
he's
wow.
he's either 6'4" or 6'5" and like $185, $190.
Dude, that's generous.
Yeah.
Like they put some rocks in his pants when he got on the scale, because that dude is very, very skinny.
He's
I
like
forgot,
Kevin Durant playing quarterback.
dude. Yeah, I think he flipped. He might have. He's from Florida for sure. I don't know where he flipped from, but he's from the state of Florida for sure. I saw that.
Okay.
But no, with USC, I think they want to try to keep this class together as much as possible, and that's because firing your coach right now with signing day being on Wednesday, like that's like this is not the time to fire a football coach, and if you're trying to get a recruiting class to come in.
Yeah, but does it really matter though? Because if you fire him after signing day, they can all just leave and via the portal come February,
True.
or they can all let him out of their letters if they signed it.
Yeah, but again, then who are you going to bring in?
Yeah,
That's what I'm
Absolutely.
saying. That's what I'm saying. As a program, like if you fire your coach, then if they sign their letters, they're gone.
yeah.
So you got to retain the players that you have and try to get the recruiting class to come in. And if you do that at this point, like it's pretty much like this class is just nothing.
There's not really well, the way it's set up now. There's not a good time to fire a coach. Like,
I mean, I think middle of the season, like that's like the best time to do it.
I'll say in season's about your only option.
Yeah.
Like,
but you're still not going to know. Like the recruits aren't going to know who the guy's going to be next year because you won't be hiring until after signing day.
No, LSU did. LSU, whenever they hired Brian Kelly, like the season was still going on. Coach O was already out of the program, and Brian Kelly was pretty much hired a month or two before, I think.
But it wasn't.
It wasn't public. No.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
But whenever they go and recruit kids,
They
they're,
all know.
They're telling them.
yeah. Hey, by the way, this guy
Yeah.
may or may not be coming in. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know I
exactly.
recruited you to Notre Dame, but would you like to come with me to Louisiana?
Yeah, the food's way better.
Yeah. You don't have to come to Indiana.
Yeah, South Bend, just a gray blob in the middle of nowhere.
and then touchdown Jesus just popping up.
Dude, this is way, way, way off topic. But did you know how Notre Dame was like founded? Like it was literally like this, like the nastiest, swampiest, like the land was just nothing, and like a priest wanted to start a school, and they like literally just put a small little like post office in this town of South Bend, so like the government would have to start funding it and building it up, and then he built a school. It was just crazy, but like it's literally like the land. They said it's like gray all the time. It's awful. Like the weather's always bad. Like it's an awful place to be.
Yeah, I mean, like Indiana's never been like a destination point for me. Like,
Indianapolis, dude.
Yeah. Well, because they have the Final Four there like every 3 years, I feel like.
and the combine. Dude.
And the NCAA's headquartered there.
And the Indy 500.
Oh, yeah, true.
Oh.
Look at
A
that.
lot going on in
Are we
Indianapolis,
scheduling
man.
a trip to Indianapolis?
Dude,
right
yeah. Heck yeah, dude.
No, but I mean that kind of shows you like how much success like that Indiana coach is having too, though, because like
Yeah.
it's kind of like what we talk about with like Kansas and Oklahoma State, like places like that have like you may not be
Tuscaloosa.
having like you may not be having like the best success, but you're having consistent success in a place that's not like a prime location.
Desirable, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an Austin or a New Orleans, Baton Rouge area where it's like it's a great area just to live in.
I mean, kids go to College Station.
Yeah, I mean, poor kids. Like, but they go to Austin for the parties. So, like.
Yeah, oh, yeah, for sure. Shoot, we talked about that too, man. I wouldn't go to 6th Street nowadays.
No, dude, it's bad.
Yeah, you
Bad,
stay away
bad.
from there. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and then I don't know. I feel like we've been putting it off long enough.
Yeah, let's do it.
Alabama beat Auburn, but
Dude,
that was an ugly game.
that was a very ugly game. But dude, I think it rang true this weekend too. Like in betting, there's a really good, like, I don't know the word for it, but like a tail to follow. It's called the field storming fade. Like anytime a team storms the field, the next week they lose like 80% of the time. Like Auburn,
Really?
Oklahoma, like all of them lost this weekend. It like remains true. It's crazy. It's honestly kind of crazy. The field storming fade.
But I feel like that kind of comes down to like
Like they're so high and like
Yeah.
it's such a big win that it's a letdown.
well, that's what I was gonna say. Like it comes down like we call them the letdown
Yeah.
games. It's that kind of deal. Like you're on such a high from beating a team that like next week like you're still like kind of floating like into like Tuesday,
Yeah.
Wednesday almost like.
The field
Follows up my point. Stop storming the field.
Yeah. But no, yeah, Alabama did what they had to do against Auburn, but Auburn's not a good football team.
And then obviously College game day coming to Texas, College Station. Everybody except Nick Saban on College game day picked A&M to win the game.
Did they really?
They did.
Corso picked Texas.
Did Corso pick Texas?
Corso
Okay.
picked Texas.
I just saw the slate. I guess it was before he picked, and it was like A&M, 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 and then
Yeah, Desmond,
Saban
Pat,
picked Texas.
Of course, the guy from Dude Perfect. They all picked him.
I think
Saban-
Saban just loves Sarkisian though. I feel
Yeah.
like he does.
or he just picked a better football team.
Well, yeah.
I think that's what happened.
I will say though, dude, like this is and like I haven't followed Texas like over the past many years. Like I used to be a huge fan. Now I'm just kind of like a college football fan. But like this is like the best Texas defense that I've seen like in a long time.
Yeah.
Like I mean like and I truly mean that like in 05, like I feel like that this is like really like the best defense that they've really had like since their national championship win.
I mean, I don't know a lot about Texas's defense like in the 2010s because they were pretty rough to watch for a lot.
Yeah, I mean that was just bad overall.
Yeah, it was just not good football. But I think their defense is very, very good. They're very good up front. Their corners can cover. I don't know. I still have my reservations. Like, have they played like a good high flying powered offense? Like Texas A&M was going to be a run first team last night for
Right.
sure. Like with Marcel Reed, which I was at a birthday party for my nephew, and there were some Texas fans and A&M fans there, and we were kind of talking like when the game was going on. I was talking to the A&M people like, would it have been the craziest thing in the world for Elko to put in Wegman? Like honestly, like legitimately, like change it up a little bit because
Try to sling it a little bit.
yeah, just sit back and try to sling it. Like
I actually said that. I was talking to Preston. He's a big Aggie, and I actually said that. I was like, I actually hope they keep Reed in there because, like, now you know what the focus is. Like with Wegman, like he's a little mobile and he's going to be able to throw it a little bit more, and it kind of shifts like your focus on like what the offense is going to be doing.
because
So-
when Wegman is on, like he's not an awful passer. Like there are times where you're like, dude, how is this guy a D1 quarterback? But like, he's had games where he can dot people up.
for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, Missouri.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
He played well, like actually really, really well
Yeah.
against Missouri.
And so that was my question, but Marcel Reed, you knew it was going to be a run first kind of offense.
Yeah.
And I mean, other than that, I think Texas's best offense that they faced all year was UTSA. Like statistically,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not debating
Yeah.
that at all. Like,
I mean, they just didn't have to play like obviously not an Oregon or like even LSU. Like LSU's offense, I mean, we talk about South Carolina's defense all the time. LSU hung 38 on them.
Yeah.
You know, like even if LSU should have lost that game, they should have lost that game because of their defense.
Right.
Their offense was keeping them in the game.
Yeah, but and I am still curious to see, like, especially if they beat Georgia.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think they do.
and I do think that as well. But it's like then, like, who do you see in the second round? Like, if you see like a Tennessee who's like a higher power offense,
Yeah.
or even Ohio State who's got like athletes who can run the field, like
SMU. We talked about them putting up points.
Yeah, like I wonder what kind of difference is like being able to scheme against stuff like that. But
yeah.
But it's kind of weird too, because like at the beginning of the season or after the spring game, the big concern was a secondary.
Yeah.
It was like, are they gonna be able to defend the pass? And then now it's kind of shifted to like more like concern with the run game. But then last night they shut down the run, even though like that was the focus. So I mean, it kind of does show like, I mean, I feel like they're pretty well rounded to where they could definitely. I mean, and you've got the athletes that are gonna be able to hang with whoever.
Dude, I think Texas is the most well-rounded team in the country. Like honestly.
Yes, but Quinn Ewers got to figure it out now.
But dude,
He single-handedly tried to maybe not lose. He kept A&M in the game.
I mean,
A&M had no business being in this game.
so did a blocked punt. But like Quinn also was dotting up. Like he was throwing dimes in the first half.
It's not hard against that secondary.
I mean, and
But
wasn't that pick a tip ball? Like it was a tip ball for the pick six. Like
one, I'll say too, like he was like you're throwing dimes, like you're saying it's a secondary, but still like there was other games that they were playing where he was missing those throws bad.
big time, like bad.
Like he's underthrowing, overthrowing, like so the fact that he's at least making those throws, especially with a bum ankle, like at least I feel like he's kind of getting back on track to where he's gonna be all right.
And we talked about it in the group chat last night too. Like, was the fumble on him or was that a guy just making a play? Like the defender just made a play and knocked the ball out when he was trying to run, trying to scramble out. I mean, he does need to take better care of the ball, but a lot of people need to
Got
take care of
to.
the
I
ball
mean,
better.
because you do that in a playoff game with a team with a better offense.
Because Marcel Reed put the ball on the ground too, A&M just recovered it. You know, like it's just one of those breaks. Like
One time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Go ahead, Will.
Yeah. What you got?
All right. I won't go off crazy at first. Okay.
At first.
we finished 8-4. You're in a first year underneath a new head coach. To be upset or just mad about it is not rational. Like you shouldn't be mad about this. That's not a terrible season in the SEC. Now you can argue how it ended was not great because you get 7-1, you go lose 2 road games, and then you have this hyped up rivalry game, first time in 13 years, and to just get beat. I mean, and he even said it. I mean, we got annihilated. This game, it felt like we lost by 40. The score says 10, but we got beat up and down the field. But as far as this season goes, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it's a complete letdown. It feels like that because we had a chance to be in the SC championship game, chance to make the playoff. We're not a playoff team. We're not that caliber yet. But I mean, I'm not thrilled about 8-4, but I'm not over here like, oh man, Elko's not the guy. We got to find somebody else. Now, what the hell is Colin Klein doing? What are these play calls, man? You have 3rd and 1 on the goal line. You run halfback dive. 4th and 1 on the goal line. You're like, you know what? Let's double down. Halfback dive. We have 3 4th down plays in this game. You run the same play every time. And you have a mobile quarterback. Why? Yeah, it was a run-first game tonight. He didn't get him out in space much.
No, he didn't.
Like they're trying to go up the middle against this front 7 that was dominating us. When you have this kind of guy, get him out there. Let him do what he does. I didn't get the game plan at all. There was zero 1-2 or try to change the game plan up when he saw it wasn't working. He just stuck with it. I don't understand it. And this is the 3rd week in a row where and this is an Elko call. I mean, I great showing trust in your players, but I think we're 0 for our last 7 on 4th downs. Like we did it twice against South Carolina, we did it against Auburn, we did it against Texas 3 times. At some point, take the points.
Yeah,
because we're not getting these plays. We're not converting whenever we need to. And you can make the argument both ways. in the first quarter, whenever you kick you go for it on fourth down, it's a rivalry game. That to me was a huge momentum play.
Yep.
I get it. If you get that first down or you go score a touchdown, that's big. But if you miss it just like you did, now Texas has all the momentum. Get points on the board, get things rolling. I think you kicked that one in the first quarter.
I mean, I don't know what it is. Like this year has been like every time on ESPN or ABC they have like the analytics go or not.
Analytics says go.
It says go, but dude, like
it's like 4th and 6 and analytics says go.
You can't like coaches now like they're going off of that. They hate points. Like the amount of times that field goals have been passed on, like dude, you got to get points there. Like it's early in the game, get points.
I agree.
Have a win for your offense. Give them some confidence. Like you have to take points there. You're there. Like that was a great drive. Like they drove the ball down the field.
Down.
Like take the points. Like because at the end of the day, like whenever Texas A&M is down on the goal line, when they got stuffed at the end of the game, like if they have those 3 points on the board, like it can change. The game flow.
And simple math tells you you're down 10. You got to have 3 and a touchdown. I'm less mad about him going for it there than the first one.
Oh no, I agree. 100%.
Because the way Texas's defense was playing, the likelihood of us getting down there again to score a touchdown was not very likely.
And the way they were running the ball, like they were just going to keep the ball the rest of the game.
It was much higher chance we were going to have a chance to kick a field goal maybe later, but to get another touchdown was not likely. Everybody's saying you got to take the points. You're down 10. And in the moment last night, I was mad because I was saying the same thing. And then when I reflected, I was like, okay, yeah, the way we were playing. Not likely we're getting down there. Right. So I wasn't as mad about that one. But I don't know, just for me, the whole game plan, I love the Colin Klein hire at the beginning of the year. I said it on here before. I think Marcel Reed's the right quarterback for his system. I just don't know what in the world he was calling last night. He just didn't change anything up, kept running the same stuff, just kept not working. Just surprised. But I'm not surprised how the game went. I picked Texas, me just being mad and everything, but Texas is a better football team, so I'm not surprised at the outcome. I'm surprised they only scored 17 points, but that was the best Texas defense has looked all year. I mean, I think that's the first time they've pitched a shutout. I mean, we scored, but it was a defensive touchdown. I mean, credit to them. They played a great game.
I actually saw a stat. That was the first time that A&M's offense has been shut out at home since 1971.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, again, I say that was play calling.
But I do agree with that, too. Like, as far it kind of goes back to even like the Georgia Tech game. It's like if you're on the road, like I go for it. Like I'm trying to get big, try to get the 7 points over the 3. When you're at home, you got the crowd behind you, everything else. Like I'm kicking the field goal, I'm taking the lead, and then I'm letting our defense like take that momentum of getting that lead and then rolling from there.
Because not getting the first down in that situation also sucks the life out of the crowd.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Momentum shifted.
Because let's go back to the LSU game. Like the crowd was completely out of the game against LSU.
Yep.
Like LSU was running away with that game. Like they were gonna blow out Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And then the momentum shifted, and there was nothing LSU could do to stop it. Like it was just a snowball. And so that's where, like, you got to take the points there, like at the beginning of the game, and again the game flow changes completely. I'm
still not saying we win. I just think it was the wrong decision.
No,
hindsight? No, not hindsight. Just how
LSU, like Brian Kelly, Brian Kelly hasn't won an opening game like since he's come to LSU. We lost to Florida State twice and lost to USC this year. And in all 3 games on the opening drive, they ran down the field in the red zone, in the 20-yard line, 25-yard line, and they settled for a field goal. They missed multiple, like 2 of them, but they actually missed one, and then they went forward on 4th down and didn't kick the field goal, which changed the complexion of the game.
Right.
I hate the fact that coaches hate points. Like, get points on the freaking board when you have the chance. That's why you have a kicker, man. Like, all this analytic stuff, like, come on.
Yeah, but I mean, Sarkisian does the same thing. I mean,
yeah, no, for sure.
There's a lot of like you said, like it's becoming just a lot more common. It's just kind of that aggressive approach of if we have an opportunity to get 7 over 3, But then it's also the downside of taking zero.
But you have to
instead,
read the game. Like you have to like the momentum, like how things are going at that moment. You can't just like be on a play like it's like in baseball, right? Like in baseball, it's a very analytic driven game, but like sometimes you got to ride the hot bat.
Yep.
Like if the guy's hitting, put him in the lineup. Like you just got to ride the hot bat, even though analytics say no.
Right.
You know that's sure. You keep that sheet on the sideline, when to go for it, when to not. But like sometimes you got to be a coach and read a game.
No, for sure. But so I mean, but all is still right in the world. A&M's not going to SEC championship.
Nope.
So.
We're 8-4. I mean, this is
That's
like,
Texas
dude,
8-4.
it is. It's like death taxes and A&M going 7-5 or 8-4. Book it beginning of the year,
I'd
man.
be upset if I made a. I think the over under on wins was 8.5 for A&M.
Was it?
So I'd be pretty upset if you bet the over on that.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, with that schedule, I'm sure a lot of people did.
yeah, but I mean, but then that's what I'm saying is like they were rolling to get. It looked like 9, possibly 10 win season,
Yeah.
and they lose 3 of their last 4 games. Like,
Yeah.
it's rough.
It is, and that's A&M football in November, baby. Start out so strong and then just crumble under pressure. The moment anything matters, really matters, and you're trying to find out what kind of program you are. Here's where we're at. Again,
So are you? Do you think Elko's like the right hire though?
yeah, I mean, I don't dislike Elko. I didn't see anything this year. I'm like, man, I don't know where we're going. But the problem with A&M, A&M's fans and A&M's alumni and their donors expect 10-2, 11-1, 12-0 football teams, and historically that's just not the case. Now we put the money up to have those kind of teams, but they act like we've been Alabama before. They act like we've been there before when we haven't. So I'm not saying 8-4 is the standard that you want to have, but to sit here and go he goes 8-4 in his first season, that's a failure. Like, no, it's not. So I mean
LSU's the same mindset. Like,
yeah,
like this year's a complete failure. Like it was playoff or bust for sure.
y'all finished 8-4 in a tough. I mean, yeah, there's games you wish you would have lost, but the SEC is just tough. So
Yeah.
again, now if we're 8-4 in year 3, we'll have a different conversation. But I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say is Elko the right or wrong guy. Yeah, that there hasn't been enough done. He didn't do anything for me to go no. And I'm real glad it wasn't Mark Stoops because look at what the hell Kentucky did this year.
Yeah, but Kentucky doesn't have the talent that
No.
A&M brings
But
in. But freaking Duke went 9-3
Yeah.
Yeah.
without him.
In the ACC.
Yeah, but that's about where they were when he was there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I always argue too though. It's like they won 9 games with his team, so it's like. I mean, I still think that they were decent.
Yeah,
so.
and again, you have to give him time to get his own team.
I
How
d-
long
I
was
doubt-
Elko? How long was Elko there for?
2
2
years.
years.
Yeah, so I mean,
But I doubt he took any of his recruits to A&M with him from Duke.
I bet you a bunch of them.
I don't
didn't get
remember.
transfer portal
I don't remember many transfer, if any, from Duke. Actually, now that I'm
to
thinking back.
A&M, but
Yeah.
elsewhere around the country. I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean?
Well,
Because Malik Murphy's there now.
Riley
Notre
Leonard went
Dame,
to
yeah.
Notre Dame.
Notre
Yeah.
Dame's quarterback is from
Yeah.
Duke.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And he did great.
God.
Rode that defense.
He really did.
Yeah, rode the defense,
Rode the
man.
defense in a bad schedule. Like,
Yeah,
For sure.
It's like Quinn Ewers.
man.
I mean, dude, when Manning scored that touchdown, I was like, dude, they might put it like keep.
Hey, they might keep him in.
But it's ride or die with
I was like,
Ewers.
Sarkisian's like, I feel like it is like a recruiting ploy as well. And I think we've talked about this before. Like, part of it is like you're riding with your guy that's been with you the whole time, but it's also like showing future recruits as well. Like, hey, like I'm gonna stick with you. Like I trust you to do your job. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it kind of it kind of does go with that. Like, I mean, Manning's gonna get his time. I mean, he's gonna get
1 year.
1 year, maybe 2.
Dude.
I mean, if he has a great season next year,
He's
I mean,
gone.
He's
He's
100% gone.
Yeah. I mean,
Gone.
But and that's what I mean, and that's why I say maybe 2. Because I mean, if they have like a lesser season than this year, and then they and he has like a mid season, I mean, he'll come back. But I mean, if he looks like he's been looking, I mean, I think they're going to be all right next year. So
Yeah.
But I mean, yes, I think Manning's gonna be very good. But just like Texas's defense, like we haven't seen him throw the ball against like a good defense either. You know what I mean? Like, can he throw the ball? Like, do you think Manning can make the throws that Quinn made last night?
Well, and that's what I'm saying too. Like I would
Like
Eventually.
that throw to
Eventually.
blue, like, dude.
Yeah, oh yeah, like a dot, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like too, like I would be very wary, like even if he is a Manning or whatever it is, to see one season of him, and then say
Draft
like
him.
this is our guy. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I would have a hard time fully trusting a guy like that.
But how much is like in the NFL? How much is like a jersey sale kind of thing? Like if you draft Manning, like the marketing for Manning at any NFL team is going to be crazy.
No,
I mean,
Just with the last name, like
yeah,
putting it on the back
for,
of the jersey.
for 1 year, and then if he's not very good, it'll go down.
I mean, you're gonna see next year.
Will it?
You're gonna see next year in the NFL. You're gonna see signs of bad teams saying that they're tanking for Manning.
Absolutely.
Like I mean,
100%.
and I hope the Cowboys are on that list, honestly. But
I mean,
got to pay Dak too much.
well, they started winning games, so they're hopefully out of the Shadur sweepstakes now. So, dude, Mel Kiper as Shadur is his number one quarterback.
Yeah.
So
I think that's probably accurate.
he
I
may
mean,
go
in
to,
this draft class,
in this draft class, I think that is accurate. I haven't seen anybody else step up, and to me, he's not getting enough love for Heisman. I know Travis Hunter's overshadowing that, and there's been the Genty story, and you got Cam Ward. I mean, Shadur's 3 or 4 on that list for me.
Yeah.
I mean, Dylan Gabriel's going to get love because Oregon's undefeated, but I mean, he's played well.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's him and Travis. I mean, they're the reason they're 9-3.
I mean, he threw for 440 yards and 5 touchdowns on Friday.
Yeah, Dion also was like, "Hey, we're gonna make sure Travis wins the Heisman today."
Yeah.
Like they were in the third quarter when it was out of it, they were still throwing the ball around,
And
trying to stat pad.
And that's what frustrates me about the Genty thing. Like, he didn't play halves of games,
Yeah.
and he's still putting up those numbers.
And
like,
but he had 20 carries in the first half. He ran the ball 37 times the
Yeah.
other day. Like they're trying.
but if they stat padded earlier in the season, like I forgot who they played. Like the dude didn't get a carry the whole second half.
Yeah, when they're like, well, he only ended the season right over 2,000 yards and 28 touchdowns. But he was on pace for 2,600 yards and
Yeah,
28 or 38 touchdowns.
yeah, something crazy.
Only 2,000 in 12 games. The man has rushed for 2,000 yards
Yeah,
and 28 touchdowns.
And if he was in a
Decent.
good conference, I mean, he runs away with the Heisman for sure.
absolutely.
If he does this in a good conference, yes.
But he ran for like $190 against Oregon.
Yeah. I mean, in any other year he wins the Heisman, but the problem is Travis Hunter's doing things we've never seen before, and when stuff like that happens, they get the award.
And I think we've talked about it too, that people forget former games. Like they played Oregon like week 2,
Yeah,
and so like
September's so long ago.
yeah, so I feel like people have forgotten about the Oregon game.
yeah.
And so like at this point, they're playing UNLV and Oregon State, and I mean they're playing the Pac-2 champion. I mean
They beat a champion.
at 4-7.
They beat the champion though.
So I don't know, but
Yeah.
I feel like they played Oregon in like October, November. It's a little different story.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, like he played good competition, he ran away with it, but is he a senior?
I have.
He's only a junior, but he's leaving. I mean, he's not coming back.
Well, I was gonna say if he was like a sophomore, he would definitely be. I feel like at a Power 5 next year, or Power 4.
Yeah.
No, he's a junior, so he's leaving.
And you saw what happened with Ollie Gordon. He's gone.
God, dude, is Ollie Gordon coming back next year?
Has to.
I mean,
He's coming back, and he's not going to be playing Oklahoma State.
No, dude.
I heard. I didn't realize Oklahoma State brought back 21 of 22 starters, and they still had this season.
it's crazy.
He had 4 carries for 10 yards.
That's tough, man. Like it's
Dude,
You gotta laugh.
Oklahoma State went 3-9.
They didn't win a game in the Big 12.
That's so.
They did not
bad,
win a
dude.
game in the
Big
Big
12
12.
that was my champion.
And I told you last week or week before, justified. You bring back 21 of 22 starters, and they were what, a 9-win, 10-win team last year?
Yeah,
You're thinking,
they went to the Big 12 championship last year.
Yeah.
and like
and they
with,
don't have to play Texas or OU.
with OU and Texas leaving, you're like, hey, which one of these teams in the Big 12 is going to step up and be the new charter school of the Big 12? probably most people would have argued that, hey, Oklahoma State and Mike
Oklahoma
Gundy
State's a top three
are right
for sure.
there. They're right there to be that new team in the Big 12.
Absolutely.
I mean, just an astronomical collapse. Astronomical collapse. Now, Mike Gundy's safe because he is Oklahoma State, but
Is he though?
I think Oklahoma State's not firing Mike Gundy.
I don't think he wants to be there anymore.
Mike Gundy might leave, but
That's what I
Oklahoma
mean.
State's
Yeah.
not
But
firing Mike
where's he
Gundy.
gonna go?
Done.
All he literally knows since he played is Oklahoma State.
What, the only place he almost went to Tennessee that time?
Yeah, that's it.
And he still came back.
Like he played quarterback. He was a quarterback's coach. Became the offensive coordinator, and then became the head coach. Like
I think he might just be hanging up. Like I don't think he's that old.
he's not 40 anymore.
He's not.
Is he
That's
that
a
guy
man.
though to like leave after going 3-8 or 3-9,
Yeah, but what if you
whatever
do
it
it
is?
again?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, maybe Oklahoma State does say like, all right, well, like you're our guy, we trust you, whatever.
But I think since they play in the Big 12, they could easily go 9-3 next year
And win it.
and
yeah.
when like they could turn it around so fast. It's the Big 12.
Yeah, but if you just brought 21 and 22 back with the number one running back in the nation coming in, and you go 3-9, and now you're gonna lose that running back.
I know what you're saying. I just think the Big 12's so wide open that could flip the other way so fast next year. Like Arizona State might win the Big 12, and they were one of the most picked teams to finish last in the Big 12, and they might win it.
Did y'all see Joey McGuire's rant about that? He was talking about how I think it was kind of going. I didn't watch the whole thing, but he was kind of making an argument of like the overemphasis on the way they made the playoff bracket, because he said a Pac-12 team is potentially going to win the Big 10. A Pac-12 team is potentially going to win the Big 12. A Big 12 team is potentially going to win the SEC. Like it was kind of like showing like they're putting too much emphasis like on these conferences and like the conference winners, and it's kind of like throwing everything off rather than just like the quality of like game to game. So I don't know.
I mean, it's a good argument.
yeah.
I mean, that is a good point. I mean, SMU might win the ACC.
No, yeah, every single Power 4 conference could be won by somebody that's new this year.
Yeah, brand new.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That
dude.
is wild.
I would have never guessed that. I mean,
No.
I
But
don't know.
again, I think it's just the way the cards fell with like how.
But dude, who would have thought Arizona State was going to play in the Big 12 championship?
No. Nobody.
I mean, I would
Nobody.
have put my money on Arizona over Arizona State.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
They have
I
a good
remember.
defense.
I mean, I talked about them as like as a potential dark horse.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a great season. They lost their head coach, so I mean, I think that kind of plays into it. But
Yeah.
I don't
But
know.
I mean, again, the parity is just this year. It's crazy, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. Especially if they add another conference game to the SEC.
I think they
potentially.
should.
I think that's in the
Every,
works.
well, with the size of conferences now, they should all be playing at least 9 games.
I mean,
A
they
9-game
should
conference
again.
schedule. Yeah, but I'm saying like you have to play at least 9. Whenever you got 16 teams in this thing with no divisions now, I think so.
Well, and like the big argument too comes like from quality of your schedule.
Yeah,
But like that's so like year to year, it
is.
changes so much.
because Vanderbilt. I mean, talk
Yeah.
about Vanderbilt. Like, if you have Vanderbilt on your schedule, you're like, oh, that's a
Yeah.
cakewalk.
But
Yeah.
they're always saying like you have to schedule these good non-conference games. If you added a conference game, you don't have to do that then, because you're probably going to get
I
at
think,
least.
I think what is the rule? You have to schedule at least one Power 5 or Power 5 school or Power 4 school. I think that's the rule.
I don't think so.
I don't think it is. Now maybe you can't just play 4 FCS teams, but
No, I think it is. I think at least in the SEC has to play at least one non-conference game against a Power 4 school.
I'm trying to think. I thought there was someone this year that they played nobody, or was that last year?
I think I'm pretty positive that's what it is. And a lot of them are just set up in their rivalry game, right?
Yeah.
Like South Carolina playing
plays-
Clemson,
Yeah.
Georgia Tech playing Georgia,
Yeah.
like that kind of thing.
Well, that's kind of
Yeah,
what I was
Florida
thinking.
plays
It's like
Florida
a lot of
State.
them,
Yeah.
It's just and then even like some of your teams like because like we talked about before, they schedule them 10 years in advance. Like Texas scheduling Michigan and Ohio State.
Yeah,
and
if
teams like that.
So, but like it was Ole Miss.
yeah,
They played Furman, Middle Tennessee State University, Georgia Southern, and the only like Power 5 school that they scheduled Wake Forest.
yeah, that's what it was.
Josh
so
Allen
it's-
just went over.
So it's like, okay, yeah, you scheduled a Power 4 school. you scheduled Wake Forest.
Yeah, but Wake Forest 2 years ago, they were actually pretty good. Like they were in the top. They were in like the top 10.
Yeah. Well, that's also the hard part about putting the schedule together. You do it so far in advance.
That's what we were just
Top
saying.
10 on what? Wake Forest was not in the top 10.
Or was that Purdue?
I don't think.
One of the two a few years ago were like
Wake Forest was in the top 10 of the
Actually,
ACC.
Wake Forest might have been decent because didn't
They were
Sam
ranked at
Hartman?
one
Didn't
point.
Sam Hartman was the
Sam Hartman.
quarterback, and then he went to Notre Dame last year,
Yeah, you're
and
right.
so they must have been decent. if
Yeah,
Notre
I
Dame
think they
was
got like
plucking
I
a
think
quarterback.
they get like top 15, I think. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that.
yeah. I mean, but again, that's like Texas this year. Like if they scheduled Michigan last year, you look at that and you're like, oh god, that's a
Yeah,
very good
for sure.
non-conference game. You schedule them this year, not so good.
Yeah.
But again, they're scheduled 10 years in advance. How are you supposed to know
that, yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's like USC or that's like Florida State. LSU played Florida State 2 years in a row. They were pretty good. They went undefeated last year.
Yeah.
Played them this or if they would have played them this year, that's a cakewalk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just don't know. And that's what makes it tough. Because I think, didn't they announce that Texas is going to play Notre Dame in 2028 or something?
I think so. Yeah.
A home
'Cause
and
I
home
know
and
that
home.
they have Ohio State the next 2 years,
Yeah.
and then they have LSU coming up too, don't they?
I mean, it's a conference.
Oh, that's right. But didn't they have them scheduled?
Well,
I think they were scheduled,
Yeah, I think
but
They
Were.
played him in 19, Joe Burrow.
But I thought they had another round scheduled.
They
up,
did, but it
then-
was COVID. It was in
Yeah.
2020.
okay.
Texas was supposed to go back to LSU to Baton
Yeah.
Rouge for the 2020 season, but
Yeah.
COVID.
No, I thought
canceled it.
I thought they had future games scheduled too, though. But obviously now being in conference,
Yeah.
that kind of takes away from that. But
Because LSU opens the season next year against Clemson. And again, you faced Clemson 4 years ago. You're like, oh damn, that's
rough.
not a good look.
And that's
Now you're like, okay, that could be a winnable game
yeah, it's still potentially ACC champions. So I mean,
for sure
God.
this year. But who knows what they're going to be next year? Klubnik's probably gone.
yeah.
I think
He still has a year left. I
He's a
think.
Is he a junior?
I think so. Has a year left.
He started as a true freshman.
Yeah, and he didn't do anything this year to even in a bad quarterback class to leave.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, like, you just don't know. That's the thing.
No.
You don't know what the teams are going to be like. Like A&M scheduling App State. You just don't know what App State you're getting.
Hey, they probably scheduled right after they beat Michigan. So
Yeah, I don't even know who we play next year. I don't know.
Dude, that's one of those teams that like I don't care if they suck. Like I'm not putting them on my schedule.
no, dude.
App
Like, 'cause
State?
they always
Yeah.
seem
They
to
always
find
they
way.
have a history of beating people, man.
I think LSU did, and I was worried. but
Except
they
this
went
year. This year they're pretty bad.
there.
Yeah.
But still, it's just the
Weren't they like ranked the last couple of years? Like, didn't they sneak in like in the rankings a couple of times?
towards the
I think they
end,
were up there.
probably.
Yeah. I was hoping
Yeah.
Texas State would be up there as ranked.
Man,
Dude, if they beat Arizona State, this season's completely different.
I think
yeah,
so,
it would
too.
look really good right now. That might be the Big 12 champ.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying too, though. Like, because like they ended up going 7-5, which is still. I mean, it's the first time since they become Division I that they've gone back to back winning seasons. But it's like, and maybe we did overhype it, like thinking they were going to come in and go to the playoff in year 2. But
I'm pretty sure since they went D1, this is their second winning season ever.
no, they went seven.
Oh, they did. They just didn't get a bowl game.
They had 2 winning seasons with or they went 7-5 and they went 6-6 with
Franchione.
Francione.
Dude, I don't think they
Franchione.
went 7-5.
I'm pretty sure they did.
If they
dude.
went 7-5, they should have got a bowl game.
I
I
don't-
think they went 6-6 one year, and they didn't give them a bowl game because like they were just one of the ones that were 6-6 that were left out. Because last year was their first bowl game.
I don't
That's when
remember
that's when they,
any winning seasons of Texas State football.
Because you have to have 6 wins to be bowl eligible.
because that's when they
Shoot, there's so
changed
many
it.
bowls now. Some 5-win teams get a bowl.
Well, they changed it because I think it was like right after that year because they left Texas State out, and they put because I remember that was the year UCLA went to the Pac-12 championship. They were 6-6,
Yeah.
and then they lost. They were 6-7, and so they ended up going to a bowl still, but it kept Texas State out of it.
Yeah, but there's no really rules. Like a lot of the times those bowl committees they'll pick teams like based on like the best option for them to get like marketing and like eyes on the game.
Yeah, I know it's a money grab and everything, and I guess you have to keep bowls for some of these small schools that don't get anything else. Is there really a point now with these playoff games? Like,
I mean, there's never been a point of bowls.
yeah, I mean,
The only thing bowls were good for is literally marketing.
yeah, because like now, especially like nobody's watching any bowl games unless you're a fan of that team. Maybe.
Nah, I'm watching them just because. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, I watch them all. But
Yeah,
when I
but-
can. But if you're a fan of college football, but they're literally pointless games, meaningless games. It's all literally just a money grab for companies to advertise during the holidays when people are just sitting around.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's all it's ever been. It's literally all it's ever been.
But we just keep adding like more and more and more. Like what 60, 70 teams get into bowls out of 130?
Yeah, something like that.
So 2013 they went 6-6, and 2014 they went 7-5.
Dang.
Wow.
Didn't make a bowl either year.
7-5 is surprising. What year was that?
2014.
I wonder if they were. I wonder if that's the season.
Were they
that,
still in like transferring
Yeah,
over?
whenever you transfer over, because
No,
it was the
'cause,
WAC.
They were in the WAC in 2012
Oh, it was
for that
2012.
one season, and then 2013 is when they went to the Sun Belt.
Mm.
So it was their second year in the Sun Belt. They went 7-5.
That's crazy.
Got left out.
Interesting.
Sad day.
Well, we're going to a bowl this year.
But it also could have been they played too many FCS teams. Because
Yeah.
you can only get one win against the FCS program
okay.
to like count towards your record.
That's probably what it was. Yeah.
So,
Like-
oh well,
Probably played like Florida A&M or something.
what could have been. Franchione didn't bring the same recruiting violations they did at Alabama. So,
I wish,
yeah, GJ Kinney's got it going though. So.
dude. Yeah.
Just got his $2 million per year extension through 2031.
dude. Like,
And they got
I love Texas State. Like, it's my alma mater or whatever. But like, that's spending above your means, man.
Well, dude, that's
To
what
be
I
able
was
to
just
pay a
looking
head
at.
coach $2 million at Texas State. That's crazy.
That's what I was just looking at. Like when they signed Franchione, they signed to a 5-year, $350,000 contract, and that was only 13 years ago.
And that's living within your means.
Yeah.
Like $2 million a year for a head coach. That's the reason why cupcake games have to be played.
Yeah,
Like literally, because
to have the money to fund it.
Yeah, because I mean, you're living in a shack, but you drive a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
You know, like they're not living within their means. Like that's
Hey, they got y'all projected to go to the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. Are y'all driving to Frisco to go watch the Scooters Coffee
no.
Bowl?
dude, that's where they went last year, right?
Yeah, with
and
Rice.
they cleaned the stadium out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
a
was
beer.
crazy, dude. Yeah.
Who they projected to play?
One guy has them against North Texas, and then the other guy has them in a different bowl. It was the one in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Against who?
Let me see. Colorado State.
Ooh, Colorado State's not bad. I think they lose to Colorado
They got
State.
that receiver, right?
Yeah,
That's,
he'll probably sit out. He's going to be draft eligible.
oh, true. Yeah.
He's probably not playing in that bowl game.
I will definitely. I might drive to Frisco. I won't drive to New Mexico.
It's a 9 o'clock kickoff.
9:00 at night.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go. God dang.
Stay the night, dude. Partied up.
Well, I guess what it would be like 7:00 that time or there.
No,
that's in Frisco.
in Frisco. The one in New Mexico is a 2:30 kickoff.
Oh, 9:00. Man, dude. I'll go hang out with Michael.
yeah, it's true.
There you go.
Yeah.
I have to
9 p.m.
trip.
Toyota
Yeah.
Stadium, 9 p.m. on
For
ESPN.
our
man.
back-to-back bowl wins.
Shoot. Means nothing.
Yeah. Hey, it means everything for Sunbelt.
That's the thing. Like I guess these bowl wins do mean stuff for these smaller programs because
Yeah.
I mean, only one of them every year is going to get a chance to go to the playoff. Sometimes two, maybe. We kind of teased that a little bit this year.
Yeah.
Tulane really
Tulane had a chance until
they looked.
yesterday.
Yeah, that Memphis
bad.
just. Which
But-
Memphis isn't a bad
I'll just
team
say
either.
That was on
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
That
it was on Thanksgiving.
Memphis was projected, was one of the projections to get in the playoff this year.
Yeah.
And
Early
They
season.
lost a couple of bad games at the beginning of the
Lost to
year.
Navy
Yeah,
early
they-
season, I think.
They got stomped by Navy, I think, and then they lost to somebody else too.
Dude, if Boise State loses to UNLV, are they still in?
No.
I think UNLV probably gets in.
As
Well,
now?
Well, right now UNLV is ranked ahead of Memphis.
Because
Yeah.
Tulane had that locked. If
Yeah.
Boise State
So it's
And
either.
I think even if Tulane beats Army, Memphis head to head will get
Well,
in
but
over
what's
them.
so what was Tulane coming in?
They were 19. They were 19 in the last rankings.
So they're probably not ranked anymore.
No.
No, they won't be ranked.
then-
They're not ranked in the AP, but Memphis is now number 25.
So they were 18 in the AP. Yeah, they were 17 in the CFP.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just blew that.
UNLV's 19, and if they go and beat, this is AP rankings. UNLV's 19, Boise's 10. If they go beat Boise, UNLV's getting in,
Yeah, for sure.
and they're 10-2. I mean, so that's justifiable.
Which would be crazy after all the controversy of the quarterback and running back sitting out.
Yeah,
Which they actually got better after that.
they got
anyways, though.
much better. So
Nuts.
Good riddance. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But all right, y'all ready to pick some games?
Yeah, let's do it.
So coming up this weekend is a championship weekend. It's all the conference championships, and we got. I mean, do you want to throw the Tulane game in there? Just do 6 this
do
week.
6.
Yeah, let's do it.
Might as well, dude. I mean,
Yeah, we'll do 6.
there you go. So we'll do 6 games this week. All the major conference championships, and all of them really have to do with seeding at this point. So it's going to be kind of crazy to see. So we'll start off kind of with the first one. So the first 2 are actually on Friday. So make sure you get your picks in on time. So we'll go with the first one, which is UNLV at or against Boise State. Boise State is currently a 3.5-point favorite.
Man, where's the game played?
You can catch me lying. Oh, it's at Boise.
It's at Boise State.
It's a home game.
Oh, dang. You know, I'm going to go with Boise State just because it's a home game. They played it at UNLV earlier in the season, and it ended up being a close game. It was actually really close.
29-24.
Yeah, and had them on the ropes. But I think Genty's going to run the ball. I think Boise State ends up winning. I'm gonna roll with Boise.
Yeah, I'll back that up. The UNLV did not have a good rush defense, but actually held Genty to one of its lowest numbers.
Yeah.
33 carries, a $128. But that was on the road. I also think Boise State's going to win it. I mean, now that I know it's at home, I think they'll game plan a little better this time. I don't know if they can hold Genty down to a $128 for the second time this year. So I think he'll run a little more than that, and I think Boise State will take care of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take Boise as well. And kind of one of the biggest reasons is I'm just looking at their schedule. They beat Hawaii by 2 points, and Hawaii's literally one of the worst teams in the nation.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take Boise on that one for sure.
Yeah. No, I clean sweep there, I think.
Yeah.
I think most people will probably be on that bandwagon too.
It would be crazy to see UNLV win that one, but
I mean, shoot.
Especially with all year long, it's been Boise. He's
Yeah.
going to be the Power Five, or be the group of 5 member, and then all of a sudden, last week of the year, like here comes,
And
spoiler.
but the way the season's gone, like I'm not going to be surprised.
No,
Like
it wouldn't surprise me at
not
all.
at all. Like that could absolutely happen. I mean, shoot, anything.
just
could
glad
happen.
it's not Liberty.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, they.
We'll hit the American Athletic next, the AAC. Army is going up against Tulane. Tulane are 4.5-point favorites in this game. Obviously, Army still has to play in the Army-Navy game as well, so they got an extra game or a game in before that. But who y'all got?
Man, I want to take Army so bad and beat Tulane, but I feel like they're actually gonna look ahead, and they're gonna be looking at the Navy game because they play this weekend, then they play Navy next weekend. So I'm gonna take.
Oh, is it opposite?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the
Army
Navy
Navy
is the
game-
weekend
yeah,
after.
yeah.
So,
Right.
They
Dang.
they get their own game.
That's
so
true.
since they're looking ahead, I'm gonna take Tulane in that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think at this point, I don't think either one of them is going to get in the playoff, regardless, just because of ranking. But I'll take Tulane to win that one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I like Bryson Daly. I loved the whole Army Navy narrative. Coming in all year long.
He's a Texas boy too. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Small
you know.
school too here in
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah, they barely beat UTSA over the weekend, a little bit closer than I think they wanted that to be.
Yeah.
He still put up massive numbers, and man, I was really high on Tulane. I thought Tulane had a backdoor shot to find their way in the playoff. Then to lose how bad they lost at Memphis. Not a heck with it. I'll take Army.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll take Army. I'll mix it up.
Yeah, I like it. No, I'm gonna ride with Tulane too.
Yeah.
I think the talent on the football field that they have compared to Army is just gonna
Yeah,
be too much.
I agree.
Like they have athletes and they have dudes on both sides of the ball. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and ride with Tulane. I think they go and win it, and it sucks because I mean, like you said, they kind of had a long shot over Boise, but or if other people lose, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like if the Big 12 kind of
the Big 12 didn't shake out how it needed to for Tulane to sneak in to get a second team in there,
Yeah.
but if Tulane would have not lost and then UNLV beats Boise, I
Yeah.
think Tulane gets in.
Oh,
So
absolutely,
For
yeah.
sure,
They would
yeah.
have to have things shake out,
yeah,
but yeah, no, but I still think they go and win.
Tough one. All right, our next one is going to Saturday, 11 a.m. kickoff. It's the Big 12 championship. Iowa State, back-to-back losses, still sneaks their way in against Arizona State, who is a 2.5-point favorite.
Yeah, man. I think I talked about it last week or the week before when we had Arizona State as one of our pick'ems, but that Scatabo dude is legit. I think he's had back-to-back games with 3 touchdowns. He rushed for 177 yards last game against their rival in Arizona, who has a pretty good defense.
Yeah.
He's a dude, man. And yeah, I think Arizona State is going to be the representative for the Big 12. They're playing really, really well down the stretch for sure.
I agree. I got Arizona State. They look good. Congrats to Matt Campbell for finally winning the big one. I guess he's always had a kind of a. They've been good in the past, and then when it's time to step up, they seem to find a way to lose and not get to a Big 12 championship game. But found a way to get there this time. But I think that's where it ends. I think Arizona State's going to take it. Scadaboo's good. I think he could even get some Heisman love. Not he could get an invite. He's got a back to maybe get an invite.
Yeah.
He's played great. I like Arizona State.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to roll with a sweep as well. I mean, I think Scadabo's been playing really well, and even Levitt, their quarterback, he's actually been playing fairly well as well. So I just think that they're getting hot at the right time. Iowa State hitting that little slump and then kind of falling off. They did what Iowa State did what Oklahoma State was supposed to do.
That's right.
Which is, take care of business because you don't have to play the top teams anymore. But I think Arizona State, I think they just got too much firepower at this point, and it's going to be tough to stop them. So I'm going to take Arizona State.
I like it. Next one we'll go with is the Big 10 championship. Oregon is hosting, or I guess they're playing. No one's hosting. Penn State. We talked about it earlier. That's in Indianapolis. We can head over there, dudes. Oregon
On our weekend trip.
Yeah, exactly. Oregon is a 3.5-point favorite in this game. Who y'all got?
Go ahead, Will.
Wow, the matchup predictor actually has Penn State favored in this.
Wow.
51-49, so coin flip, but that's surprising. I mean, Oregon's number one team. They've done nothing to not deserve to be favored in this game. With Penn State doing nothing all year. I mean, they haven't played anybody outside of Ohio State. Their best game on the schedule is USC, and they were in a dogfight, which we know USC's much better at home. But I have no reason to not pick Oregon in this game. James Franklin also has a knack for not showing up in the big time games. Doesn't seem to win them. I like Dan Lanning. I think Oregon wins first year in the Big Ten.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was looking at too. It was, James Franklin throughout history, like he's never able to get that big win. They have been playing very well. I mean, their closest game since Ohio State has been that Minnesota game, which was last weekend. Which Minnesota's a tough team at home.
Yeah,
but
definitely could have lost that game.
Yeah, they definitely could have and probably should have lost that game. But I mean, I think Oregon's just got too much. I said it yesterday. I feel like Oregon's like the most untalked about number one team in the nation ever. Like they just kind of just been flying under the radar, taking care of business, which I guess when you don't have a lot of big time matchups, it kind of swings your way that way. But and I feel like they got too much, and they'll end up getting the win on that one. So I'll take Oregon.
I'm gonna go opposite. I think Penn State. It depends on what Oregon team shows up, right? If the team that shows up against Wisconsin's there, I mean, Penn State. We talk about their schedule; it's not very good. Don't get that twisted. But dude, Penn State was right there against Ohio State as well. Like I think it ended 20-13. Like it was a close game, a defensive battle. obviously Oregon was able to do what they did to Ohio State's defense, but that was also in Eugene. Like I think a neutral site plays a part into it too. And Oregon has to. I mean, that's a pretty long trek for them, going to Indianapolis. So man, I think Penn State wins it, and there's not a single undefeated team left.
That would be insane, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shows us the state of college football, and it's great.
That's right.
I agree.
It's a great time to be alive. The next one is the ACC championship, which is SMU, who we talked about earlier, been absolutely rolling 11-1, and they are 2.5-point favorites against Clemson, playing in Charlotte, North Carolina. So much shorter trip for Clemson on that one.
Take it, Will.
Yeah, I mean Clemson. I know they did just lose to South Carolina, but before that they had been playing decent back and forth. But I'm rolling with SMU. I was actually going to take SMU whether if they were playing Clemson or Miami. I think that they've looked the best so far in the ACC. I don't know. Yeah, I like SMU. I like them.
Man, God, I think I'm gonna go with Clemson. Kind of the same thing with Tulane. I think Clemson just has too many dogs. Like they have the recruiting classes that they've brought in. I think they're just too athletic for SMU. SMU was in a barn burner with Boston College. Needed overtime to beat Duke. Obviously, Clemson lost to South Carolina last week, but dude, South Carolina's defense is legit. Man, I think Clemson's just too much, and I think SMU doesn't find a way to kind of hang with them, especially on the edges. I think Clemson's just too good.
Yeah, I'm going to take I'm really torn on this one because I picked Clemson to be my ACC champion at the beginning of the year. But man, like the one big game that stands out as comparison is the Pitt game. So Clemson beat Pittsburgh 24-20. SMU beat Pitt 48-25.
Yeah.
Were both those games at Pitt?
The SMU game was at home.
Okay.
So, and I just think like the firepower that SMU has, because kind of what I talked about is like they've been putting up crazy points. They did have that shootout with Boston College a bit, but I mean since then they gave up 7 to Virginia and they gave up 6 to California. Which not that they're great teams, but they're taking care of business and their offense has been consistently good just throughout. So, I think it's going to be a dynamite game. I mean, I think it's going to be a lot of back and forth and. I just feel like I think SMU is going to be able to sneak this one out. I really hope they do. I would love to see them go in the ACC first year and get that win. So I think they'll be able to do that. But I think it's going to be a really good game.
Yeah, I think so too. Man, it also depends on which club Nick shows up to. I mean,
For sure.
if he shows up and is ready to roll, I mean, they're going to be tough to beat. But no, yeah, a lot of these are coin flip games. That's what the spreads are showing too.
Oh, yeah.
It should be.
You
It's conference title time.
Absolutely.
I mean, we shouldn't be expecting blowouts.
Yeah. Last one, the SEC championship game. Texas is playing Georgia in Atlanta. Texas right now are 2.5-point favorites. Again, it's another team coming in first year trying to get the championship home. So, who y'all got?
It's kind of crazy too. So the spread actually started even, and it's actually opened up towards Texas.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like, it's going to be essentially a home game for Georgia. I mean, I say that just because it's going to be in Atlanta. I know a lot of Texas fans are going to travel for this one, but man, I don't know. I'm going to take Texas. I think that they learned a lot since that game. I have a lot of reservations about their offense against that Georgia defense to see what kind of adjustments they're going to make from last time. And the big question mark that I honestly have is Kelvin Banks.
Yeah.
If he doesn't play, then I think that Texas is in trouble.
That's true.
Because I didn't realize it until I said it yesterday. That was the first time all season that the same 5 offensive linemen weren't playing together.
Wow,
which is crazy.
lucky.
Yeah, you never hear about that.
Yeah, it's lucky.
So, so I think if he plays and he's healthy, I think Texas is going to be all right. If he's not if he is playing or he's not playing and he's not 100% healthy, then I think it's definitely going to be tough. So, but I think Texas finds a way. It's just going to come down to ball control and not giving Georgia the ball deep in your own territory over and over again.
3 times,
so.
yeah.
Is there an argument that he shouldn't play, being that you're still in the playoff? Like, is there an argument that if it's going to injure him worse?
I think that'd be a fair argument for sure.
'Cause I mean, it still matters. You're trying to get a bye and everything, but I mean,
a bye or a home game. Like,
yeah, but you're probably going to fall to 6 at worst.
Yeah.
So if it's a game time, is there an argument to maybe?
I mean, I think
You
that's-
don't
Yeah,
play?
I would say it really depends on the severity of the
Yeah.
injury. I mean,
Yeah.
really, because you're getting a week off anyway. So it just depended. Do you want to give him 2 weeks off guaranteed, or do you hope to play him to give him 2 weeks off?
Yeah.
So
Get
yeah.
injured and make it worse. And
Yeah, so
Exactly, and
I
then-
definitely
then
think
he
there is
misses.
an argument to be made for sure.
Yeah. Again, I don't know the severity, but if it's like a injury that could take two weeks to heal, and try to do it in a week,
Yeah,
you save him for the first round. I
for
don't know.
sure.
But I'm picking Texas mostly solely because I trust them more than Georgia. Georgia has played a tougher schedule. They've played more people. They're back and forth so much, and I think a little bit with this spread is just from the recent eye test. Texas looked dominant against A&M, and Georgia for 50-something minutes looked very susceptible against Georgia Tech. When they turned it on when they had to, and it seems like Georgia does that a lot, especially against Georgia Tech. But I don't trust Carson Beck at all. Yeah, Georgia has a good defense. If the right Quinn Ewers shows up, I mean, they've already played him against them once this year. If the defense that showed up against A&M shows up, Carson Beck is in trouble, and that offense can be shut down very fast. So I'm picking Texas just because I think I trust them and Sark a little more than what I've seen from Georgia.
yeah, I'm gonna go with a clean sweep. I got Texas. It's hard to beat a team twice in a year as well. The odds just go down tremendously. And again, like Will was saying, I definitely don't trust Carson Beck at all. I mean, Quinn has had his ups and downs himself, but man, Carson Beck just does not look very good. The Kelvin Banks thing is a great point because, man, in the first game, Georgia dominated that line of scrimmage, and that was the difference in the game. So we'll see. I think it's going to be a coin flip game too, but I think Texas is just too much on the defensive side of the ball for Georgia's offense. So I'm going to go ahead and roll with Texas.
Yeah, because I wonder how many times. I'd have to go look back, see how many times. I know there's at least probably there's only 2 drives where Georgia actually legitimately drove down the field.
Yeah, wasn't much.
So it'd be a good game.
I think
It's gonna be
so,
a great
too.
weekend.
Should be fun.
I mean,
it's gonna. But like we talked about earlier, 11 of the 12 teams are locked up. So it's fun football, but
doesn't matter.
what are we really going to decide as far as playoffs positioning?
Yeah.
It's kind of really all it's for because all we're going to find out is if the ACC gets 1 or 2 teams in. If
Yeah.
Clemson wins, they get 2. I think SMU should stay
And
in.
then which one Big 12 team gets in?
Yep, and then we have the argument of which SEC team gets in.
So here's a question for you too, though. So
But what do you mean which SEC team gets in?
because they're all ranked, they would be that last one to get in. If Clemson, well, Clemson's not going to be in now anyway. So, but
I think if Clemson wins, the last SEC team's not in.
no, yeah, because I
Yeah.
agree SMU stays in, but
Yeah.
as of right now, everybody that's in the top 10 is getting in, no matter what.
And then Boise.
And then Boise,
UNLV.
no,
whatever.
Boise is 10. So you have 2 spots available, and one of those would be the Big 12 winner. So you'd have one more spot available if SMU wins. If Clemson wins, I think it's already decided. It's whoever's ranked plus the Big 12 winner. But if SMU wins, there's one spot available. And right now, Alabama's 11, South Carolina's 13, and Miami, Ole Miss are 14, 15. So I think it's going to be an SEC team that would get that last spot.
So who do you put as your 4 seed? Do you put Boise State or do you put the Big 12 winner?
If Boise State wins, I think the Big 12 winner is the 4. I think Boise State gets the 3.
You mean the 4 and
The 4. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
and
Yeah,
the Big 12 gets the 12.
So the
Yes.
Big 12,
Yeah, that's what I
wherever
was
they're
saying.
ranked,
Or
Big
wherever
12
they're
will
ranked,
be,
yeah.
I think they would be 12.
Because they're outside of the top 12 right
Yeah.
now. I think.
That'd
Yeah.
be crazy to think. Boise State getting a first round bye.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It is crazy.
Should be interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, man, that's what we talked about. That's what we talked about, though. It's going to be a dogfight in the Big 12 the whole year. So
God, it's just set up for Alabama to get in, and they're
It is.
Not
That's
a
what I
football
was getting
team.
at.
I
Yeah,
mean, they're what,
it's-
number 11 right now?
They're number 11 in the AP, and I think they'll be ranked top 12 in the on the rankings Tuesday. It is 100%
Yeah.
set up for Alabama, and I'm not. Again, they beat South Carolina head to head, so you have to put them in. But right now,
Yeah, and
I think South Carolina's probably a better football team.
and that's what the committee's been about the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, they're talking about who's the best team at the moment.
Yeah.
Like it's not Bama.
No.
What they did. Look what they did against
No.
Oklahoma.
No. Yeah. We'll see. We'll know a lot
South
in 2
Carolina
weeks.
should be that team, but I don't think that. I don't think
Is
the committee does it.
is the selection show next Sunday?
I believe so. Yeah.
What time is the show? We should do it.
Do like a live?
Yeah.
It's usually like, what, 6?
6 or 7.
6
yeah.
or 7.
We got to check. Yeah.
Probably after the SEC championship
Put
game.
the kids down at 5.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But
That would be fun.
No, for sure. I think it'd be cool. I actually thought about that, doing like a live update like as it's going on. So
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun.
I
See
agree.
what's going on. So, all right. That's all I got. Y'all got anything
Yeah.
else?
No.
yeah.
Cowboys played on Thursday, won again.
Yeah.
Just keep losing
keep
draft
wi-
position.
just
dude.
keep winning,
Just
dude.
keep falling. Yeah. Just keep falling.
winning.
Yeah. Whatever. The only thing I hate more is that the Eagles are winning. Like, the Eagles are good this year, dude.
Yeah.
Are they?
10-2.
They're legit. They just
Beat
they
the
just-
Ravens.
Dude, they just stomped the Ravens today, who have been playing really well
Mm.
in Baltimore.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. But now Baltimore's 8-5. Everybody puts them like they're like one of the best teams in the NFL. And on paper, they seem
mean-
like they are, but they're 8-5.
Recently, they've been playing a lot better lately. They started so bad is the problem.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't either.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I got. Y'all got anything?
Nah, we're good.
We're
All right.
good.
We appreciate everybody listening. Another great episode. Continue to like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family. Continue to send your pics in. Watch us on YouTube. You can actually watch us on Spotify as well.
That's cool.
I uploaded on there, so it's like Rogan has his podcast. We have our podcast.
Same thing.
I mean, it's both video, so I mean, whatever you want to do, but just saying. So anyway, but appreciate everybody listening. And until next time, we'll see you next week.
See ya.